Lower prices on the reserve list equals hot sales. Everyone loves a good deal. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world of Magic the Gathering. You know, when I take a look at things, and I love getting a good deal myself, when I see these sales figures coming in and you realize how cheap some of these reserve list cards are, it's starting to catch notice. Other people are starting to pick things up. It's not that more money seems to be moved around. It's that the cards that are being picked apart are higher end, higher value cards. We got some great cards on the list this week as we move down the yellow brick road from number 10 to number 1. You know, I put these videos out every Sunday. The Hot 10 comes out for the reserve list, and my regular Hot 10 comes out on Saturdays. And I like to look at these figures and add them up and see where we're going. And yeah, I missed some. I can't watch every card, everyone. But thank you for those emails. They really do keep me informed, and I do appreciate them. I just go and go, I like a good deal. I like when I feel like I've gotten the best bang for my buck. And where cards may have been $500 before, when people are seeing them for $200. And they're going, really? I can finally get that card I've always wanted? And I'm paying, you know, a fraction of the price? People are starting to jump on board. The sales aren't super high, but the dollar amounts they're spending on these cards are slightly higher value cards. It's starting to move things in a different way, and people need to be aware of that. If there was a card you're hunting, you might want to pay attention to. You might want to look for that particular card you've always had your eye on and see where that price is at and see if you can get your hands on a copy. It may not be on my Hot 10 today, but it might be a card you personally at home have always been thinking about, and this could be that day, this week, this month, where you get the deal you've always hoped to get. You get the bargain, because everyone loves that idea of getting good value for your dollar. When I look at this list, and you're going to look at it with me now, it's phenomenal to see how far some of these cards have fallen, and nobody knows when that bounce back is going to hit us again, and people start to panic. Never know. So, let's get this journey started. Let's start the yellow brick road out. We're going to start at number 10. We're going to end at number 1. Don't forget, guys, I love to see those comments. Let's see what people think about this. Let's get started. You know, when I started my list this week, I actually didn't expect Wheel of Fortune to be here. But it's number 10 on our journey down the yellow brick road. It's a revised edition, 19 sales, but that's still thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, $355.06 US. That's around $430 to $450 here in Canada for a near mint copy. For those players who want to get a heavily played copy, you can save about 20% on that, but it's not as much as you'd think. Players are kind of, the lower end cards that are beat up are kind of holding a hard line on this, but what an amazing deal. €215.88 to get this card to your house. I've had some players actually compare this to, why would I buy Commander Legends collector boxes when I can go get a Wheel of Fortune, which is used all the time? People like Rudy at Alpha Investments have said this card is actually going to be the most expensive card eventually from Revised that is on the reserve list. This has a lot going for it. It has high playability. A lot of factors come into a card like this, and I can see why people are waking up and saying, I'm just going to buy this card. I'm going to skip some modern products, get a card like this locked in. If it gets great returns later, amazing. But if not, I've gotten a card that I've always wanted to have at basically a fraction of the price. I mean, when you look at the casting cost and the ability of the card, this costs you nothing. This is an amazing card. I used to Tormund crit people and do horrible things to them and use this card to regenerate my hand. It's just one of those cards, you know, great memories, great card. There's those promos of it out there. I know some players who have some, but buying an original here and just going ahead and getting a revised copy on the reserve list is something special. And it's actually attainable again. It's a pretty affordable card at this moment. Now, our next card is Savannah. That's right, 20 sales again. Now, I kind of had a feeling that some of these dual lands were going to be sticking in there, okay? I've noticed the sales were kind of higher than I expected, and people are starting to, again, they're taking notice of some of these cards and saying, you know what, the way everything is, the trading cards I have and things I'm doing, I might as well just go get a couple of dual lands, since I don't like some of the products out there like Commander Legends, and I'm just going to buy one or two. just, you know, augment some of my commander decks, some of my vintage old school stuff. Maybe I'm building a second deck. But you look at that price at market at $377.60 US. Now here in Canada, it's around $450 for a near mint copy. It's a little more expensive, but when you go overseas, look at €233.74 to get that card in your house. Dual lands are amazing. They are expensive, but they're going to get worse. Only so many players in Commander can ever afford to buy these before they do get priced out. And this is still that area where you're like, you know what? It's still a pretty affordable card. A lot of playability. It has desirability, versatility, and then it follows through with being a card you can trade in to your local LGSs, and they're going to give you a pretty good bang for your buck, or you can sell it privately and almost get all your money back out of it after years of enjoyment, and it could actually attain higher value. This is something players consider when they're buying cards like this. I know I do. I don't just buy random cards for the sake of it. I buy cards that I think will have good value later, that I won't lose everything on, but that I get to enjoy inside the decks I'm building. Now, our next card at number 8 going down the Yellow Brick Road is Scrubland from Revised. 22 sales this week. This one's actually around $500 here in Canada. Overseas, €236.92, $369.40 US to get this card. But again, 22 sales. Again, you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. The reserve list, when you get sales like this that are kind of flowing sideways, you're like, I didn't expect this. It's happened a couple of weeks in a row. And then you have to ask yourself, why is it happening? I know some people on my channel have bought 1 or 2 of these cards. I know I've gotten some emails from other people. It didn't add up to all these sales, but when you check your local stores, yeah, there are some people out there right now taking advantage of some of these prices and saying, this makes perfect sense to me. I want to have this card, hold on to it for a long period of time, and I really don't like some of the products that are out right now, so I'm going to skip them, lock in some profits for the future, and get some cards that I'm really going to play with. So way to go, Scrublands. You're awesome. Oh yes, Lake of the Dead. Alliances. I have mentioned this card numerous times. You probably saw it on my Thursday video, and there may even be more sales being topped up as I'm doing this video, but I look at that and say 23 sales. That's only around $2,400 in sales. I realize it's not the highest. But the Lake of the Dead has some of the most iconic artwork I can remember as a teenager when this card first came out. Very creepy, very, very freaky-like, right? When you see cards like this. The sale price from the high of 300 down to where it is now makes it totally a playable, great card to have. And when you look at it, when Lake of the Dead comes into play, sacrifice a swamp or bury Lake of the Dead. Add 1 black to your mana pool, but you can sacrifice a swamp to add 4. And then we used to find ways of recycling our lands, Crucible of Worlds, you can find ways of using it. This card can just, and it's not even legendary, by the way. That's the other creepy thing, is that thing's not even legendary. So some of our old decks used to have 4 of them. We did multiple horrible things to players back in the day. And it's still got playability now. I've seen it used in, I use it in my Eldrazi deck. It's amazing. So way to go. It deserves to be here. I can't wait to see if this price continues to fall or actually spikes up higher. It's going to be interesting to follow that one a little bit. Now, number 6 this week. Surprising this is Casa from Alliances. I remember people using this back in the day. I've mentioned this a few times on the channel before. It's had a few spikes and a lot of drops. You can see it's had some mini spikes there across the board, but 27 sales tells me somebody's paying a little bit of attention to the card. I mean, it's not the worst card out there. It does cost 5, but when you take a closer look at the card, you realize it says all green creatures, which means itself. It doesn't say other green creatures. So the fact that it's going to be a 3/4 for 5, not the worst card. I mean, definitely not the best by today's standards, but it also boosts everything up. And there's other green cards that can mix with this to give more counters, more +1s, more bonuses to cards like this. And I gotta say, the artwork, totally amazing. I always enjoyed looking at it in the past. Looks like there's a winter storm in the background and she's just standing there ready to go to action. But I look at it and say, yeah, I can see why somebody might want to grab a few copies, because it's been as high as almost 20 bucks and now it's hanging around the $5, $6 mark. That makes it pretty attainable. Pretty cheap card to get into on a low-end reserve list buy to see where things end up. Way to go. It's from Alliances. It's reserve list. What can you say? All right, Omen of Fire. Another one that I was not expecting to see here, but after its steep decline in price in the last several months, I can see why somebody might want to grab into this. This is a brutal card to use against players in Commander. 33 sales tells me it's almost a mini buyout from Alliances. Somebody's paying attention. When you look at this, 2 red, 3 generic, return all islands to their owner's hands. Each player sacrifices a plains or white permanent for each white permanent he or she controls. So all you gotta do, guys, is have this in like a mono red deck. Do it with like goblins, like Krenko and stuff. And by the way, it's an instant, so it's just horrible to use on people who are playing multicolored. It's just brutal. Okay, I've seen it used in a couple of games, and people did not see it coming. And by the way, in the later games, they tagged up on the person. It totally wiped them out each time if they were playing the same deck, because they didn't want to see that card come out against them again. I understand, but it's still a janky, fun card that can mess around with people, and it's so inexpensive. So buying a card like that, bargain basement value, should be probably a $25 card by this point, but the way the market is, it just kept falling. Awesome. All right, Brain Geyser. Now this one's been on the list here lots of times. Okay, this has made the top 10 lots of times here on the Hot 10, but coming back on again as the prices fall, a lot of people picked up near mint copies. And by the way, some unlimited copies sold as well. I'll make the note of that. Some unlimited copies sold, and while I'm doing a little thing here, I'll also say Underground Sea had like 14 sales this week. It almost made the top 10 as well. And some other cards like Soul Devi Excavations had almost enough sales, but they got bumped off by other cards with just 1 or 2 sales more. So Brain Geyser here with 37 sales this week. That's pretty phenomenal. That's a really high amount for a card like this, which is considered by many to be kind of a slower card now. I still am putting this into a commander deck I'm building, kind of like a backup card just in case it's late game and I want to use it to draw or force an opponent to draw. But it's the price. This thing has been at about $100, and you're now talking, $26, $27 to get it. Super affordable. And whoever's been doing this, you can always email me. I am curious to see who's doing it because it was specifically near mint copies that have been targeted. So that's why I'm curious to see who's doing it and why. I get it. It's one of those cards you're looking to say, it's sorcery. It's not even like an instant. I understand. But target player means you can make opponents draw. You can make friends. You can do things. You can just have 4 mana and draw 2, which is very similar to cards we use nowadays. Of course, at sorcery speed, not instant. But it's just, I can see why people like it. Plus the old artwork. So way to go, guys. I mean, I get it. It's not coming back around anytime soon. So why not grab it while it's cheap? All right. Fastball. Now, we talked about this last week. When I look at Fastball right now, I got to say, kind of crazy to see it here. Sorry, I made a little adjustment there. My apologies. 38 sales this week. This card is not spiked up in value even with all those sales. It's being bought at a pace that seems to be acceptable to the market. It's not causing a spike yet, but I definitely noticed it when I started adding up the sales this week. It's been dipping down. At one point it was $5, guys. So it's still well above its bargain basement level, and you never know what's going to happen with a card like this. It's not banned in every format. It probably shouldn't be banned in Commander. And remember, I've always said this when I see you guys in the comments section telling me, it's banned in Commander, gifts ungiven, these cards are banned. Says who? I will always say that. Who told you it's banned? Some guys you've never met told you the card is banned and you believe me. It's a casual format. You and your playgroup decide what is allowed and what is not. Have some fun with it. If you're in a competitive game, I get it. There's certain rules you have to follow, but not me. Me and my friends play with whatever. If there's a real issue, we'll discuss it amongst ourselves, okay? It's supposed to be a fun game. I love playing it. And somebody's been buying copies of this and saying, this is a great price for the card. It was as high as like almost $100. So you're looking at going, wow, from $75 down to $22. That's a big discount, right? This is, and again, near mint copies. So I don't know if this person was buying these and buying the Brain Geysers, but what a smart play. Okay, really surprising here is Soul Devi Digger from Alliances. I've mentioned this card. I like it. I do own like an artist proof, and of course I love Amy Weber's stuff. Now, for those who don't know what this card does, 39 sales this week is technically a mini buyout. Soul Devi Digger is a 2 generic artifact, right? And you can just pay 2 mana, put the top card of your graveyard on the bottom of your library. That's how we used to recycle cards, especially in a Time Walk fork type deck where I would take 5-6 turns in a row. With 4 Howling Minds, I was always constantly having to recycle my deck. I've seen somebody recently do this with Crucible of Defiance, the Sojourn land that made the little 2/2 creatures, and they just kept doing it. It was really annoying with multiple draws, putting like 3 or 4 creatures out every turn. Even when I was starting to nuke things, it was like 2/4/6, 2/4/6. You're like, stop! But I mean, it's not the best card by today's standards. in any sense of the word, but there's not that many cards out there that recycle and bring cards back, okay? When you want it en masse to get a whole bunch of cards out. I had a friend who used to always use Painter, Servant, and Grindstone, so I had to throw this in to start being able to like get my stuff back in, right? It was crazy. So you've waited long enough. We've gotten down the list. We're now here at number 1. So we've gone past everything. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let's check out the number 1 card this week. And it was mentioned to me last week. So this card still had strong sales last week that followed to this week. And that is going to be Soul Echo from Mirage. 52 sales from the 16th to the 22nd of 2022 at the time of recording this video. It could have had higher. Another card could have had more sales. But you know what? This is the one that I recorded as the leader at the time of the video. Now, for those who didn't know what Soul Echo is, because I know it's not very mentioned that often. I've done a few videos on it. Now, it's an enchantment, and it's 2 white plus X. When you play Soul Echo, put X counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are no Echo counters on Soul Echo, bury it. Otherwise, target opponent may choose that for each 1 damage dealt until the end of your next upkeep, you remove a counter. So anyway, if you're like close to low life, you would put Soul Echo out with as much counters on as you can. Instead of them hitting you, right? They are doing damage to the Soul Echo, okay? And then if you have less than 1 life, you're not taking damage. So eventually they have to eat the Soul Echo up and then come after you. It was a great way to save our lives back in the day. We used to use this with like, what's it called? Alley of Cairo and crazy cards like that. Crazy to see some of these cards on the list. They were the cards I least expected. I thought maybe the dual lands. But when I saw some of those cards hitting the list this week, I'm like, really surprised. They're not the cards I expected to see, but it was a great surprise because I'm like, hey, I like that card. I like that card. That one's kind of cool. You kind of get into it, right? When you realize how many fun cards are out there in the world of Magic. Love this game. It's always spicing it up. Even when the game has been sped up the way it has nowadays, I still look back and say, I can still add this reserve list card in. I can mess somebody up with this. Yeah, I'll die horribly a lot of the time, but that's okay. Because when you connect things off and your deck gets going, you're having a blast anyway, even if it only does it once in a while. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. Hope you had a good time with the content today, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. This will be a Sunday video, so there might be a live stream, there might not, depending if I'm on vacation technically by the time you're watching this video, but I still might be able to hook in somewhere locally and do some kind of live stream that just won't have, here at my place, but it'll be somewhere, okay? I'm hoping. If you see me, I'll be there. If not, then please forgive me. All right, guys? Have an awesome one. I'll see you guys soon. The Patron Wheel giveaway will be 1 week late, and that's due to me being on vacation. But don't worry, guys. I know that the patrons make everything happen, and you'll just have to wait an extra week for that action. Technically, if you're seeing this right now, I'm not here. I'm on vacation. But if everything went well, if everything went according to plan, you won't notice a difference. I have ordered extra lights, a new stand with a green screen that can like be pulled up like a blind thing, so I can have a background when I'm up north filming on my vacation with the family. I've ordered extra microphone that I can leave up there, extra camera. That's right, guys. We've made it all happen. Hopefully you won't notice a difference at all. And you'll say, hey, you're on vacation. This is my vacation. Talking with you guys and chilling out and talking Magic, that's vacation. Mowing the lawn is not. Walking the dog can be or cannot be depending on the weather or how excited the dog is. So I'm hoping everything will go well. Yeah, I won't have the faster internet up there, so it'll make it hard to do some things right now. The internet should be installed at some point, but the good news is places like Up North Games will allow me to upload my content there, so everything should work out very well. So thanks again to Up North Games. You guys rock. You've made my life a lot easier in this case. It made it easier for my viewers. I can't wait. Hopefully I can do a live stream from up there. We'll have a good time, all right? Everyone have an awesome day. I've actually officially started my vacation for the first time in 3 years. Doesn't look any different now, at least from this point. But I'm sure it's happening wherever I am. Guys, have an awesome day today. I'll see you guys Monday, all right? In the comment section. I'm sure there probably won't be a change at all. Have a great one.